Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Oh!
Welcome to Hot Takes. I'm your Lodgemaster. With me as always is Brother Bieschke.
Hi, Matt.
And Brother Lucas in the back.
Hot takes!
That was better than it should have been. Tonight's movie is Child's Play, asterisk 2019 remake, reboot, reimagining. Now, there was some rumors, Bieschke, you had said that we weren't going to do remakes anymore? Like, what?
I didn't know.
Who agreed to that?
No one officially told me, but after Pet Sematary,
You just assumed.
I thought maybe I could squirrel my way out of it.
No, we ain't done. We ain't even close to done. They're going to remake everything from our childhood.
The Goonies.
They're going to update it. They're going to remix it. They're going to chop it and screw it.
Gremlins.
Oh my God, it's all coming. But tonight, we're just here to talk about Child's Play. And we saw it all separately, so I have no clue what you guys are feeling. I have an inkling that Lucas is going to be really upset, but he seems kind of happy, so I don't know. I really don't know. The main update to this movie is Chucky is now Wi-Fi compliant.
Techno.
He's Techno Chucky. Oh, I have a complicated relationship with this because if you're going to update Child's Play, this seems like the right way to go. Like, it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
it's a natural, logical conclusion of where to take it, for sure.
I think the opening was like the potential.
It felt right.
I was like, in the audience I was with, everyone was laughing. The advertisement for Buddy.
Yes.
Buddi.
Buddi.
And
Which is what the movie should have been called.
Buddy.
yeah, and him controlling, like an Alexa monster
Mm-hmm.
who just controls the house, controls technology all around him. And I thought it should have been in like a upper class suburban household that was all techno outfitted, but
Sure.
that's not quite what we got.
Well, I was strangely optimistic in the early going because we go to Vietnam at the Chucky assembly line, and it's like a real overdone, like cheesy, storm outside, kind of like in the first one, and it just felt good. It felt like they had the right spirit, But to me, and I really want to know what you guys think about this. I think where it goes wrong is the evil that exists within Chucky is programmed by a disgruntled employee. It's not like the lightning hits the factory and somehow that turns off all of his inhibitors.
I agree. It should have been something much darker and sinister. Like
a guy just deprogrammed his microchip and then killed himself.
Yeah.
There's no supernatural element.
It's definitely got no soul.
And therefore it's got no soul. It's got a microchip for a soul where it should be like an evil spirit of like a killer or something.
Or like an evil Steve Jobs or something.
Something that takes it, that gives it that X factor, that supernatural X factor that would actually make it a bit scary, Mm-hmm. Because we can already imagine all of our Wi-Fi shit going haywire. Like, that's not a new thought. You need to have that, but bring that old Chucky sauce to it. And I feel like they surgically removed that Chucky sauce.
Yeah, it didn't really work in the modern way that they thought it would. It was when it opened with the commercial, I thought it was pretty silly, and the Chucky doll was pretty funny. And like the audience immediately that I saw it with was like a sold out Tuesday night crowd at the Burbank AMC 16, and they were just like laughing hysterically. Like it played like comedy. And yeah, when it cut to the Vietnam, Foxconn type factory, and the night foreman is like slapping the dude and like spitting at him and like yelling to get back to work. Like it just is so over the top.
Yeah. Where did that movie go?
Yeah, but at the same time, when what you described happened, it's just like kind of anticlimactic and like lacks certain stakes or something.
And
Like
so-
it's just not as
So
exciting.
then we meet Aubrey Plaza and her kid, which I'm surprised they changed Buddy to Buddi. Why didn't they change Andy to a girl, Andi? Like, that's weird. You'd think that would be the first reboot move that they'd make. Was make it a girl.
Why not flip the gender
Why
roles?
not?
Yeah.
Why not at this point?
It was a little too authentic. Yeah.
But it's not, and we get to know her. Like, it's a cool visual. Aubrey Plaza working at Zed Mart. You know, she seems like she's
Which looks like a Goodwill.
where she needs to be. Yeah, which is also weird. But the movie ditches her. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, no, it's all about the kid.
It's about the kid and his stupid friends.
And the kid, they're really, were they going for like Henry Thomas and E.T.?
Yes.
Because he's wearing the red
Yes.
hoodie and he's crying throughout the whole movie.
Yes.
About
Way too much.
way too much over Chucky, who's not lovable. Like,
No.
there needs to be a love-hate relationship with Chucky. But almost immediately, Chucky is so creepy.
Yeah.
And so,
And he's digital,
And the
practical hybrid.
yeah, there's a lot of digiface going on throughout.
And that's not cool.
No.
Like, that is just, it just isn't cool no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, no matter how much Mark Hamill does on the voice, you can't
Which
go.
is not a lot. I feel Hamill is wasted. Like
There's-
doesn't need to be
It's hard
Hamill.
to tell it's him, really, but
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't know until the end
I was
credits.
expecting Hamill to have more personality as like the movie progressed, but he kind of stayed in like second gear the entire time.
Everybody's at the mercy of the script. So Aubrey Plaza just gets shuffled to the side because she starts dating this jackass dude who I thought was so terminally miscast that I
Yeah,
thought,
he felt like a financier. It was like another one of those
yes,
financier roles.
we need to come up with a term
Yeah.
for the financier casting. But he was so bad that I thought it was a joke when he was being too hard on Andy. I'm like, oh, is he having a laugh? You know? But no, he was actually trying to portray a chilling stepfather figure. And he was anything but. He was so bad that I was like, I leaned over to the lodge mistress and I said, I think that's probably the guy who played Andy in the original. And they just like stunt casted him, you know? But nope. Nope. He's just some dude stinking up the movie. And
what do you think those kids?
oh my god.
bad.
I'm getting riled up, you guys.
Punk kids.
I'm getting riled up. Like, what the fuck?
They're
What-
like adults. They're just like, and they're not
Their
funny.
name-
They're just, ugh.
Their names were Fallon and Pug. And they storm in like they're from like
Stranger Things said.
It's like Stranger
or
Things,
some
right?
sort of like foreign sitcom that's trying to emulate American sitcoms badly. Oh, like what? Why do they think that we want to see intrigue involving them? Like you've established Aubrey Plaza, you've established the kid. You bring in Brian Tyree Henry and waste the shit out of him at every turn.
Criminal.
Mm-hmm.
These kids should not be getting any screen time. And then they keep piling on more kids.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
they're
what?
all punks.
They're all punks. They're underdeveloped. They're just straight. Yeah, they're Stranger Things like
Adult children.
placeholders.
Yeah.
What this movie chooses to focus on just confuses me.
Yeah.
Like they spend so long building up this, evil stepdad character, only to kill him in kind of like a hands-off kind of way.
In the only Christmas scene in the entire movie.
Yes, he's taking down a string of Christmas lights.
In a watermelon field.
In a watermelon
in his front yard.
In a watermelon field in his yard.
In winter?
Like what is happening? Like
Yeah.
was this script written by like a random word generator?
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought when I was watching it for sure it was two writers, and I was like, these guys must have just been high out of their minds, just writing like without any outline or direction of where they were going. Because
yes.
this
Yeah,
shit
'cause they're
was
just plucking stuff.
completely
It's all over the
disjointed.
place.
And yeah, the direction is like more crying.
Yeah, and the intrigue over like the heads, the face that gets put on the
Well-
watermelon that gets wrapped up.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But the stepdad guy gets run over by like a soil tiller, and then Brian Tyree Henry is the only detective in town. He's the only guy that will ever come to any murders. And he says, I wrote this down in the theater. He says, dead white man in a watermelon patch. Poetic. How? Like, I get that there's racial undertones with watermelons and African Americans, but dead white man in a watermelon patch, how is it poetic? I don't, like, that is a first draft half asleep line that you would write.
Very half-baked.
Like,
yeah.
I'm going to come back to this and make it sing. No, nobody made it sing. Lucas, do you know what that means?
No, but I remember that line, and I remember thinking, like, that is bad. Like, that just does not work. And I thought Brian Tyree Henry was doing his best to try to sell it.
He had
and,
to
like,
know this sucked.
come off as, like, a real person. But this movie
and they're
is
trying
just,
to give him glimmers of humor that are just... They're just not there, man. And he's not the problem.
No, he's trying his best to make humor out of nothing, really. Like,
I mean, that's what made the original so great, was like the detective was actually pursuing Charles Lee Ray before he became Chucky.
Right.
So he's like got this personal connection to
Yes.
it, and there's like stakes are high, and then the single mother, and there's like that sexual tension between them.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. Like, this does not tie in together at all. And yeah, Aubrey Plaza I love, but this, I didn't realize this was a comedy. Like, when they sold it, they sell it as like a horror
Is
movie.
it? But is it?
They
It's
sell
a
it as a horror
mishmash.
movie when you
It's
watch the
totally
trailer,
out.
but as soon as it starts with Tim Matheson,
Yeah.
I'm laughing. Like, you were laughing at
Sure.
at Buddy, like, pointing his little ET finger around. Like,
Yeah.
the audience was losing it.
Yeah.
And I was too. And then from there, yeah, you're thinking, like, okay, this is going to be cool to see Chucky kill people. But then, like, he's not. Yeah, it's like these Rube Goldberg,
There are
like,
3
sequences.
kills. There are
And-
3 kills. One of them is the stepdad, and then they take his head, and this is an extended set piece that I will never, ever in my entire life understand how this got through checks and balances. His head, Chucky gives his head to Andy as a gift. Okay, that's fine. Then Andy's stupid friends come over and gawk at it, and they're like, what do we do? Okay, random script word generator. Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it in gift paper.
Let's wrap it like a present. So they wrap it up like a present. The mom sees it. She's like, what are you doing? Hummina. We were wrapping this to give to Brian Tyree Henry's mom as a gift for helping us with homework. Okay, let's go down the hall and give it to her then. Like, this is... I get that
they're
it's...
digging so many holes
I
for themselves.
get that
What
it's
the
supposed
hell?
to be darkly comedic, but
Yeah.
this is just ridiculous. Like, Chucky isn't even involved at this point. They, like, lock him in a closet. Then they go give her the head wrapped up.
And they say, like, open it Friday.
Open it.
And then so they have till Friday to deal with that
What?
head.
Oh,
But yeah, there was also this actor that looked exactly like Jack Black, to the point where people in the audience were like, is that Jack Black?
nope, and it wasn't. And
It
he's
was
just,
not.
he's a random...
And he's dialed into like 11
He's-
as like a creepy janitor.
He's a random
like
janitor
like
who
Sliver.
they look at initially, and you're supposed to think is creepy. But in my mind, I'm like, well, he'll probably save the day just because they're putting on the creep so hard. Nope, he's just a creep.
Yeah.
And he has cameras in everybody's apartment, and he has a camera in the old lady's apartment, and he sees her talking to Andy with the head in the background, and at some point she refers to Andy as her best friend, and that's enough for Chucky to want to kill her.
Yeah.
So Chucky kills the custodian, and then he kills the old lady, and then that's kind of it for Chucky's carnage before the big finish. But these are just 3 random ass people. Like, nothing tightens the screws. Nothing makes the plot deeper or enriches the story. This is just a random creepy janitor, a stepdad who was overdrawn to begin with, and this old lady. Nobody wants to see an old lady
and they
get
put her
fucking
in a self-driving car,
tortured in
Yeah.
a car.
and she just and then he stabs her like
Who is that for?
yeah, like, and she didn't do anything wrong. Like,
She said randomly, "You're my best friend,"
Yeah.
which she would never even say. It's lunacy.
yeah, it is script lunacy.
And then they like show Brian Tyree Henry like have to react to finding his mom's body.
When he uncovers the body,
so
and I'm like,
God.
I'm like,
Oh
what
my
are you
God.
making him do?
I couldn't help but
What
laugh.
are you making him do?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was brutal.
Okay, so that said, I think the kid playing Andy was good. Like, they made him cry too much, but that's not his fault.
Yeah.
Like, he was there to play. There's a big Wi-Fi orgy of murder that goes down at Zedmart because they're releasing the new model of Chucky, or Buddy, as it were. And mixed in, they have a bunch of different buddies, and one of them is called Buddy Bear, which is actually creepy. Like, when I saw Buddy Bear, I had my very first, an hour and 20 minutes in, my very first pang of, ooh, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. But this movie gives such no shits about Chucky. Why not just call it Buddy Bear and have it be about a fucking bear?
Yeah.
Like a Wi-Fi bear.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how they all got possessed like Chucky. I
Well,
missed
Chucky
the
was
part.
like omnipotent. Like, he was controlling TVs everywhere, and he was just like, it wasn't.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
didn't-
realism.
It's
to it.
ridiculous.
I don't understand how that works.
And there's drones flying around, a la Domino. People get shredded up.
Yeah, drones with razor blades on them for some reason.
Oh man.
And it's just the most basic ass ending. Aubrey Plaza's tied up because of course she can't. This movie completely discards her and then just uses her as a pawn at the end. Like horrible role.
Yeah,
Like,
Chucky's just showing up everywhere. He tied her up somehow. He's popping up all over the place, like flying around like a Chucky doll.
like there's just I don't know what to recommend about this movie. I mean, can you guys come up with anything good?
Watch the first couple minutes for what might have been. I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, there's a little taste of what might have been at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it just gets lost in honestly one of the most bizarre horror scripts in the worst way.
Yeah.
In a confusing way. The Lodge Mistress was like, "I'm bored." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. She's like, "I would leave if this recliner weren't so comfortable." I'm like, "Yeah, that's part of the deal. They have you trapped." So, anyway, let's go to damn Chucky Bounce.
I can feel it in my bones.
Brother Lucas, unleash the beast.
Yeah, so I saw this alone, which is never a good time. But
Scary.
the audience was with it, and like we were laughing together, just how bad it was. And I don't think the filmmakers intended it to be like an outright comedy the way it kind of played. You know, to me, Chucky is Brad Dourif. You know, even if you're rebooting it, you got to have Brad Dourif. Like he's
It's
the
weird that they didn't bring him back.
force. He's like the blood of that character. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're gonna replace him, Mark Hamill's a pretty good successor. But you got to use Mark Hamill. And Mark Hamill was just probably like recording all his lines in like a day, you know, if that.
Sure.
And it wasn't very memorable or exciting. And yeah, like the scenes were all disjointed and just like written as comedy most of the time. And trying so hard to be funny, like that watermelon shit. Like I was like, at first I was laughing because I thought like they were gonna just cut to the chase and she was gonna open it like right then and there.
You mean the head?
Yeah, and then it just ends with him like throwing it down the trash chute. I was like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah,
Oh
you're right.
my
Like, where
God.
are we? Like, what are we doing?
That fucking head intrigue.
So I feel, yeah, it was botched. So I give it one bone. It's just like, to me, it should have been Brad Dourif, and it should have been a different Chucky design. Like, I don't know what was the deal
Yeah,
with them having like an actual puppet, but then his eyes are CG.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude.
Someone should have jumped on that like they did Sonic the Hedgehog's design. Crowd demanded redesign. Nothing would have helped. If they're going forward with this random ass script, nothing would have helped though.
And they don't even end it on a good cliffhanger button, like at all. Like not even a little bit. It's just like they're mass producing
another Chucky.
Yeah, they're mass producing more, but it's like
But it's the old model. How did the cliffhanger model even get evil? Like what are you even doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? Brother Bishke?
Right there with Lucas. Not a big fan of the horror remake genres, and this one.
It's not a genre. It's just
I don't know.
It's just what they happen to be doing right now.
Yeah. So whatever they're doing, Yeah, this was all over the place. You got to have a love-hate relationship with Chucky, with the kid. But as soon as the Chucky kills the cat, the kid's got to be
cat,
like,
sorry. There's four
yeah,
kills.
there's 4 kills. Then you got to be like, I got to get rid of this fucking doll immediately.
Yeah.
But then like it's like, you know, he's like Henry Thomas and he's weeping and he thinks like this Chucky doll is E.T. or something, and it's not at all. It's freaking just evil looking from the beginning.
It's
and
broken.
and glitching all over the place, and it's a shitty toy. Anyway, one bone.
You know what? I was gonna give it a bone. But I've got myself worked up into such a lather. I'm going down to a half bone.
Nice.
Half bone for the Andy performance. Half bone for just Brian Tyree Henry trying to make it work. Like,
yeah, to me there was a funny laugh where I laughed extra hard during the massacre with the drones, where like Aubrey Plaza's boss, who's like dressed up as like a buddy in a big costume,
yeah,
gets like knifed in the neck, and Brian Tyree Henry's like trying to comfort him. He's like, "You're gonna be okay, man. You're gonna be okay," and it's like his blood just like shooting from his jugular, right? But then what's funny is they cut back to him later, and he's somehow miraculously still alive. And
He's
so,
all right.
he like gets killed again, and like it's just not. It's just like there's no rhyme or reason to it.
This
And what's
movie-
even funnier is when he gets stabbed in the neck. Before that, it cuts to his POV.
Yeah.
So like all of a sudden we're seeing a dying man's POV, but just for a glimpse, like just for a few frames, and
Why
it's
not?
like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's my assessment of this whole movie. What the fuck are you doing? And whenever I think of Child's Play 2019, I'm going to think of that wrapped up head, and I am just going to view it as a cautionary tale. Like any artistic exploits that we may find ourselves in, make sure you don't spend 20 fucking minutes on a head thread
But if
that
you
goes
do,
nowhere.
But if you do at least have the old lady open it up and react to it. It's like a
no-
Chekhov's gun. It's got to go off.
There's
You can't
no
just throw it down the
payoff,
garbage chute and then he sees it on the TV after the fact and nobody cares.
Chekhov's garbage chute. One half bone. One half bone is all this deserves. If anybody thinks anything else, come at me. I don't give a shit. This is bad, bad, bad. This shouldn't have been made. Fuck you.
Not without Brad Dourif.
Not with Brad Dourif could have been another half bone.
I mean, Brad Dourif is so good that like his Chucky laugh haunts me and gives me chills.
Yeah. Well, he's not there. It didn't happen. That's Child's Play 2019, y'all.
See you at the next horror remake.
Can't wait. Cannot wait for this horror remake. Woo! That's hot takes, y'all. I'm hot. I gotta go cool down.
Let's cool off.
You boys gotta cool me off. Love and light,
Love and
y'all.
light.
Love and light.
Woo!
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
What's happening, Lodgecast? Brother Justin here. I suspect my bone count was requested because I collected action figures till I was 30. Anywho, I was intrigued at the beginning. I think changing the plot to have it be more AI-based is, on the surface, kind of something we reject because I like more supernatural elements in horror. But it turned out to be a pretty good move. Serial killer possessing a doll is amazing, but we did it like 9 times, so let's just make it more contemporary. And I thought that also allowed it to kind of turn the mirror on us a little more because he was learning from horror movies and bad behavior of human characters. So I thought that was pretty smart. I was with it for the first half when he was kind of starting to get mischievous, but then once the killing started, my eyes kind of glazed over. The smart home integration stuff, you kind of have to do it, but it's not very intriguing or fun to watch. I also didn't care for the fact that Aubrey Plaza's single mom character was with a womanizing D-bag who the only character trait was that he drank beer. That was pretty regressive, in my opinion, and I normally don't try to score woke points. So if you get that out of me, you've really fucked up. Also, there's one shot, I don't know if you guys noticed, where he does a very student film acting move where he goes to get a beer and he looks at it as if he's reading the label for a calorie count or to see what brand it is. But that's beer number 4 for you, champ. you just take it out of the fridge, you don't look at it. That just irked me for some reason. Anyway, I'm taking up too much of your time. 2 bones.